And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And what we'll be covering today is the hint on the lab and some hints on how to complete the work plan to include the test plan that you need to turn in with the lab. Here's your example. Correction. Here's your lab instructions. You go through. This is basically bowling scores. All right. And this is the work plan. This is the blank. I can start filling in it. I'd say bowling scores. Goal. Not real. Something to do with Perl hashes or something to do with bowling or something. In actuality, you probably have much more data than this. In actuality, you'd be dealing with a spreadsheet or even maybe a back-end database. Okay. Okay, considerations. I'm going to tell you error checking not necessary. We'll be nice about that. All right, for the rest of these, I'd go and say, all right, create a new Perl script. Yeah, that's kind of implied. Okay, well, this is the first thing you got to get it to do. All right. And we'll play the game in which we go from PDF to doc file. Okay, text only. Okay, clean it up a bit. All right, you get the idea. Basically, you take, I would say considerations. I'd keep these as a consideration. Okay, for my strategy, key programming point. Okay, data in the provided file. That sounds like file input output to me. So okay, and this sounds like array to me or hash table. Well, they tell you use a hash table. Okay. Okay, next key programming part. Let's see. Okay, I don't know tables exactly the correct. I force a habit for me being the DBA, but okay. Next thing is calculate the average. Okay, so some statistics on the hash. Okay. Okay, write out. So write to a text file. Okay, so next thing we do is we read from a text file. Next thing we do is we calculate the highest bowling score and write that out. Okay. Okay, and we'll use the same trick about that we learned on average. Okay, the final one is to you want to sort the players and their scores. You want to do it in ascending order of scores. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Okay, what are some of the tests you would run? Okay. Test. I would have it run the program. Program runs without errors. Okay, that would be test 1. Okay, test 2. I would say okay. Calculate the average with a calculator. And then I would compare it to average.txt. I expect matches the value. Okay, and for 3, okay, you need to determine who the winner is from examining scores.txt. Compare it to winner.txt. No C. Okay. Be a little more specific here. This isn't really a calculation. Okay. All right, and okay, open that last one. These opens. Did I put a number on here? Yeah. Okay, 4. Open sorted.txt and compare to now this takes care of 2 things here. This thing takes care of your last item that you programmed and your first item you programmed. Okay, and what happened is Okay, so basically what I did on the test results, I went back to this strategy, and I went back and made sure I had something for every one of those. What I did for those is I went back to the consideration and listed all my made sure I had a strategy for each of the major parts of the consideration. Okay, so how does this help you program? Okay, well, let's pop on over to my box, which is passworded again. All right, this is a demo, so I'm going to see. Did I tell you what to call it? Yes, I told you to call it lab. Okay, so purpose of this demonstration. Did you get it? Whoops. All right. So we need to start with our shebang. And it strikes me there's something wrong with that. Let me take a quick peek. Let me take a really quick peek here. Yeah. Because I forget, because I'm old. Okay, userbin.perl. Okay, and it also reminded me of a couple of items I needed to use. You need to use strict and you need to use warning. Okay. And what I basically do is I go through and I put the major portions in first with comments. Okay. All right, so what do we got to do? Go back to my I probably want all that where it's all in one line. Okay, and when I'm doing this as an intermediate step, before I write the others, I'll need to do something down here for development only. Okay, so we got that. And let's take care of the highest score. We've already figured out the trick of writing to a text file, so we don't need to go through that again. We can just cut and paste, or copy and paste, I guess I should say. Same thing for sorting. Need another pound sign here. Okay, so what has happened here is I have filled out my work plan and I've used it for a skeleton for my Perl script. And you say, okay, now what? Well, now you got two possibilities. I've got the Perl examples. I use the Perl examples that come with the course, and I unzip them. And as you can see, you used to have things about hashes, some of which you may need, some of which you don't need. Do we have file input output here? Let's see. We got integrals. Let's see. Okay, that doesn't help much. Okay, we got standard error. That's almost like input output. Let's take a look. Oh, term IO. That looks promising. Okay, that just looks like that's putting things to the terminal. How about text file IO? That looks wonderful there. That looks like some copy and paste material there. Okay, that's one way that you can do this, and you can go through, and there's enough of these where I believe there's enough to where you can figure out what you need to do. The other thing you can do is do the five clicks of Google, and like if I want to do the file input output, I go okay, and what I do is I go through, click. I'm using the wheel mouse online. Okay, and you go through. See, they use warning 2. Just review each of these. It'll take you a little while. But it looks like all of these are saying the same thing, that you can figure out the input out piece from there. That's how I normally do things when I'm doing them at work, because I don't have a nice little file that has all the things prepackaged in it. Okay, so this what we covered in this is we covered how to fill out your work plan and your test plan. We also how to approach a somewhat complex Perl script. This does a number of things, and this is more typical of what you would do in a production corporate environment. Hope this helped, and we will move on to the next video.